Greetings. My name is Derica Griffiths, and I'm going to take just a few minutes of your time to introduce you to U.S. history and what your students can expect for the coming semester and the coming year. U.S. history is a survey course. We will cover everything starting with the discovery of the Americas all the way through to present topics. Normally I get through to 9/11, at least to discuss that event, as it was such a watershed moment for our nation. And of course, with the news, it is relevant to current events going on. So we will get somewhere around the present day. We will for sure get through the Cold War. That is normally where we finish the school year. For you, and I will show you this in just a moment, as parents, if your student is out or if they're confused about any work they might have, then there's a planner or a weekly description of what we've done every day. I am strict about due dates, in that when an assignment is due, it's due. I expect students to turn it in. However, once they've turned it in and received it back, if there's anything they want to redo, they want to complete, they can do that and turn it back into me for credit. So I want you to know that where it says assignments are due on their due date, that means they need to turn it in. I'll get it graded, they'll get it back, and they get to decide if they want to, complete it, improve it, and turn it back in. I think that's important to note. I will say this about homework. I don't give homework. If a student has homework, it's because they're either absent or because they haven't used their time wisely in class. Just know that students have ample time in class to get work done. Of course, they don't have time to do other things, and so I don't try to micromanage students. They are juniors. They have to make decisions about, those pieces. So that's another part of homework that you should understand. Finally, the work that they do is kept in a packet. Almost everything is a part of a unit packet. They get it at the beginning of the unit. We work through it, so we work through it as we go along. Some students get confused about that. They think they have to do the whole packet in one night. Hopefully by the second unit, they will know that they just need to follow directions in class and work along as we work along. So we might cover a topic in class, and there would be work in the packet that helps them to process that or expand upon that. So that's the type of homework or assignments that students do. There are some online assignments, a reading site that we use, Common Lit. That would be through Google Classroom. They would have a link to that assignment. And whenever they're given work of that nature that's online, again, they have ample time in class to complete. The due dates are usually shorter, the shorter amount of time. And so students, normally will get those in on time. I think for all of us, the most important piece is the semester grade. I know that's what you will be watching. This was in the syllabus, but I just want to highlight the categories and how they're broken down. You can see assessments make up 70%, so between unit tests at 50% and then the final exam, which is just a compilation of questions from the unit tests that students have taken over the semester. It makes up 70% of their grade. There might be a little stress around that because assessments are more difficult. The homework is meant to prepare students for it. I treat it as completion. It's where we can process. That category should be 100%. So students should have 100% in homework. And again, as I explained, even if they turn something in, they get it incomplete, they can turn it back in. Once they get it back, they can turn it back in for full credit. I hope students take me up on that, right? Very few students do. But around assessments, if you look at the bottom of the screen, students can retake tests. And in the syllabus, it says up to 3 tests, right, per semester. In the last couple of years, even before, we went to hybrid due to COVID, I was allowing students to take those tests multiple times because I don't really have that many retakes to manage. Very few students take me up on the retaking of tests. So if you look at your student's grade, your child's grade, and you say, wow, they really bombed a test, please encourage them to come in on EOP or to set up a time. I know sometimes EOP doesn't work, but set up a time with me. They can come in after school. They can retake tests. If they are still bombing it after retaking the test, I'll point them in some directions, maybe sit down with them and talk through a few areas where I see a pattern, but they can retake the test again. So, the first week of school, when we were going over the syllabus, I kept saying to students, what should your grade be in this class? And the answer should be no lower than a B, hopefully an A, right? So anything lower than that, if you can encourage them to come in, they can retake tests, they can redo homework. There is no excuse in my mind for a C or a D, and certainly not an F, but they do happen. So those are the main highlights and what to do about a syllabus grade. I'll show you some features in Google Classroom. So this is just one of the classes. You can see announcements. Just this morning I've posted that agenda so students can link on this Google Slides presentation and they will see an update of the work. If students are out, this is what that agenda looks like. If students are out, I will keep this up at the end of each day. So before I leave, though, I'll explain why in a minute. Maybe Wednesdays are a little more, but I'll explain, I'll write here what we've done in class. Thursdays, well, I'll come back to this. I'll come back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. But this is what your students should see and be able to go to. With COVID and protocols and all that, we're getting high absences. And so students are writing, they have individual questions, and it's just overwhelming to all of us. So what I would say is they should be able to follow along with what they, if they're out for an extended period, what we did in class that day. They won't have homework every day. So, but I will put at least the topics and any readings that we do, give them a heads up. While we're on the screen, I will explain why I was kind of hesitating talking about Thursday and Friday. So as you know from the email I sent at the very first day of class, I am, at this first quarter, I am having to go through chemotherapy, which means Thursdays and Fridays I am not present in the classroom. I have a long-term sub. Her name is Rachel Reed. She's excellent. She's a former Thunderbird student. She's now going, I think she's completing her PhD in education, quite qualified, and she is very compassionate and student-oriented. So no concerns there. She's covering for me Thursdays and Fridays. Her kind of focus will be either expanding on topics or working with students to help, make sure that they're processing the information. I am handling the content Monday through Wednesday. So it's just how it's going to be now through right after fall break. So I'm crossing my fingers, believe me, that everything goes back to normal teaching, normal classroom, the end of October. That is the plan that I have in my head and that we're working towards. So that's the only, hiccup. That's the only thing I would ask for some understanding around. If you write me on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I might not get back to you until a Sunday when I'm, in a place where I can return those emails. It might even be a Monday. But again, when we're back to the normal, I usually respond to emails within a 24-hour period, usually the same day. But in this situation, I ask for some grace and some understanding about time and getting back to you. So I think that covers everything other than, well, let me take you back to the Google Classroom. So under classwork, some resources, we're wrapping up colonization. So you can see it's organized. Students have readings that go along with the material that we've covered. There's also resources where they have vocabulary terms. Those are also in their packets. They have access to a slimmed down version of the PowerPoint I use for instruction with the students. And they also have access to a website called Quizlet that works with vocabulary. I'll be introducing a new website for them where we can play some games around vocabulary, because vocabulary is key. But this is how we will proceed through the whole year. The next unit will be the American Revolution, and any assignments that aren't in the packet will be organized, posted under Unit 2, American Revolution. So I thank you for taking your time to listen to this presentation, to, listening to my issues, my concerns, and where I want you to focus, if you're looking at the grade, where to focus your attention. Just know that there really isn't a reason. Your student can really turn around and bring those grades up pretty quickly. So thank you, and I look forward to partnering with you this year and making this a successful junior year for your student.